I'm going to do the pen tool exercise for you today. They go from kind of simple to more difficult as we go through. The principal idea behind these exercises is to get you comfortable with the pen tool and some of the things that you can do with the pen tool as far as creating shapes and objects in Adobe Illustrator is concerned. So the first thing that I'm going to do, I have the pen tool exercises open. This is the file that you're going to use when you create these exercises. I've also put it on its own layer. I've called that layer template. I'm looking at the layers palette. Template layer, I've got that layer locked so that you can't really access anything on that layer. It's kind of frozen in space and I can't get to it. I've created a layer on top called the working layer. I have my fill set to none, and I have my stroke set to black, and the stroke weight is 1 point. And we're going to start by working with the straight line, the simplest first. I'm going to close the layers. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click on the tear out to bring my pen tool and the related tools out. We are only going to be using the pen tool in this exercise. However, you're going to see how the tool modifies to delete anchor point or convert anchor point as we go along here. So the first exercise is straight lined, and it is very simple. All you're going to do is you're going to go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 to 9 to 10. You're going to follow the directions. Now, the directions on the straight line, it's very simple. You're going to click here, and then you're going to move to 2, and you're going to click here. Then you're going to move to 3, and you're going to click here. Now these are just plain clicks, no clicks and drags, and you let go immediately. Click here, click here, click here, 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 here. When I come up to the place where I began, notice that when I sit my pen over top of it, the little cursor has a 0 or an O behind it. That's a little indicator that I'm about to close the shape. And I actually have now closed the shape, and if I click on this shape and drag it over, you'll see that the shape that we made is a star shape. Control Z to put it back in its position. Very simple. They do get a little more difficult as we go along, but they start off very simple. Straight line segments creating straight objects. Now we do have up in here the ability to use a star tool to make a star and the ellipse tool to make a circle. But the point here is that I want to give you an idea in a very simple, basic way how you work with the pen tool to create some shapes. Let's move on to the curved line exercise. Once again, I'm going to click on the pen tool and I'm going to do exactly what it tells me to do in here. So read this and see what it says and do it. It says, number 1, click and press here to hold down the shift key and drag to here. So what it's saying is, it wants me to click here, hold down the mouse key and the shift key. So I've got my mouse key held down, the shift key is being held down. The shift key constrains. That's what it's meant to do. It's going to create a straight line from here over to 2. Watch what happens or see what happens. I get my control handles that come out when I drag. That is now a curved point. I'm going to come over to 3, click, hold down the shift key. I'm holding the mouse down, holding the shift key down, and I'm going to drag to 4. It creates a constrained curved arc from that point to at that point. I'm going to move on to 5. I'm going to again click and then hold the shift key and drag over to 6. And as you can see what's happening, so then I'm going to move up to 7. I'm going to click hold down the shift key and drag to 8. I'm almost done. I'm going to come to where I began. I'm going to click here, hold down the shift key. I'm holding the mouse and I'm going to drag back over to 2. That is all there is to it. You now have a circular shape. You can make the circular shape up here at the ellipse tool, but the purpose of this exercise is to get you to where you can understand the program and how the program functions with creating these shapes. So now I'm going to scroll back over in this direction. I'm going to scroll down a little bit, and we're going to go to the next exercise, which is called multiple curves. We're going to create some multiple curves here. You've got to start at 1, go to 2, go to 3, go to 4, go to 5, go to 6, go to 7, go to 8, so on and so forth, and do what it tells you to do. So I'm going to get the pen tool. I'm going to come over to 1. Click and press here, hold down the shift key. Click, press, and hold down the shift key. I'm holding the mouse down and the shift down, and then it says drag to here and release. And we've turned this into a curved point. Then I'm going to go to 3, and what does it tell me to do? Click and press here, hold down the shift key. I'm holding the shift key and drag down to here, release. I create this arc shape. I'm going to move over to 5. It says click and press here, hold down the shift key. Press, hold down the shift key, drag to here, and it's making a arc in the opposite direction. So now I'm going to come up here, I'm going to click on 7, keep my mouse held down, hold the shift key, and drag to 8. And this exercise, very simply, is to just create these little opposite arcs. Really simple. And that's it. That one's done. So now I'm going to move over to the next one. Curves with corner points. This one here is a little bit more tricky. You've got to pay attention to what you're doing with this one, but it is still fairly simple. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to grab my pen tool. I'm going to start at 1. What does it say? Click and press here, hold down the shift key. Click, press, hold down the shift key, drag to here, and release. Now, this is where it gets a little bit different, because it says click here and release. Press directly on the anchor point which you just created, drag to here, and release. So this is a little more complicated. Watch what I do. It says here, click here and release. So I'm going to click and release. And then repress on the anchor point. So I'm going to press on the anchor point again, hold down the shift key, and I'm going to drag it to there. Okay? What I essentially did was I converted this to a corner point. That's really what this is all about. So now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to click to create my point first. Let go. Then I'm going to come back over top of it again. See the little V underneath there? That's the convert anchor point icon telling you you're going to convert that point. Click on it and hold down the shift key, drag it down to 6, and there I've created my conversion. Come over to the third anchor point, click again, hold down the shift and drag it down, and curved with corner points. That's exactly what this is. A curved segment with a conversion to a corner point and then a repeating curve. So that is that exercise. Very simple stuff. It's stuff that will give you a good idea of some of the things that you're able to do in Illustrator with the pen tool. So now I'm going to come back and I'm going to find my other side and I'm going to move down to the next one. Curved with corner points 2. This is the second version of a curve with corner points. Again, you'll notice that there's more instruction here. So what's happening is little by little, this is getting more complicated as we go along. And it will. And there are a number of different things that you could do with the pen tool. The object of this whole thing is to get you so that you could see some of this. So once again, I'm going to get my pen tool, come over to 1. It says click and press here, and then drag to there, drag to 2, and release. I like to hold the shift key when I do that because it helps constrain it some. And then click here and press, drag to release. And then what you're going to do is you're going to hold down the Alt key. I'm on a PC, so I have an Alt key. You probably have an Option key. And I'm still holding down, and now I'm going to take that and I'm going to bring it up to here. So essentially what I did was I changed the arc of this curve by doing that. That's all that I did. So now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click again, hold down the Shift key, drag to here, and then I'm going to let go of the Shift key, hold down the Alt key once more while I continue to hold on this point. And then I'm going to swing that point up to here, and I've made another repetitive loop. Click again, hold down the Shift, drag it down to here, let go of the Shift, hold the point, hold the Alt key, bring the line up, the control handle up, and that one's done. Click over here, hold down the Shift key, drag down to there, and I finished that one. Check it out. That's exactly what you did. You created those looping semicircles. Really not too difficult. Let's move on to the next one. Combining curves with straight lines. Let me get this out of the way. This is a slightly different direction to go in, a slightly different group of steps. So pay attention, watch what I'm doing. Click on the pen tool, come over to 1, read what it says. Click, press here, hold down the shift key, and drag to here, and then release. And then you're going to come over here, click, press, hold down the shift key, drag to here, and release. Now, number 5 is right here. It tells you to click. So you're going to click. Then you're going to come over here, you're going to click and release. So you're going to click and release. Then it says press the anchor point, hold down the shift key, and drag to here. So I'm going to click on it again, hold down the shift key, and drag it down to there. Not too difficult. That's 7. So here we're going to come over to 8, and we're going to click here, hold down the shift key, and drag to here, and release. And you see I'm making a curve in the opposite direction. Once again, we're going to come over to this 10 point, which is right there, and we're going to click on that to convert it. Then we're going to come over here, and we're going to first click and release. Then we're going to click again, hold down the shift key, and drag that up to there. And then we're going to come over to 13, click, hold down the shift key, and drag to 14. And that is your combining curves with straight lines. So there's your curve, there's your straight line, there's your curve, there's your straight line, there's your curve. See, these things are really not that difficult if you pay attention to what you're doing and take your time. And that's what this exercise is supposed to help you do. So now I'm going to go to our last one. Come down to this last one. This last one is a mess. No doubt about it. This one is a real mess. View, zoom out. So I'm going to try to do this very slowly because this is a toughie. All right, it's really not that bad, but it looks bad because it's all over the place. It really is. So I'm going to do this very slow. So I'm going to click on the pen tool. I'm going to go to 1, and it says click and press here. So I'm going to click and press there. Number 2, drag to here and release. So I'm going to drag up to there, and I'm going to release. And that's all for now. Then I'm going to move over to 3. See where 3 is over here? Click and press here. So I'm going to click and press, and then if you take a look, it says here, where's 4? Where's 4? There, right there. So it says click and press here, and then 4 says drag to here and release. So I'm going to drag to where 4 is, right there, and I'm going to release. Okay? 5, click and press the anchor point you created and drag to 6. There's 6. So what I'm going to do is watch what happens to this control handle. I'm going to click here. I'm holding it down. I'm not letting it go. And I'm going to drag it all the way down to 6. Now I'm going to come over to 7, and I'm going to click, and I'm going to hold. Now you see what it did was it created that contrasting curved line. I'm on 7. I'm still holding my anchor point down. 8 says to drag it to here, so I'm going to drag it right up to there, and I'm going to release. Now we're going to go to 9. I'm going to hold the Option or the Alt key before I click this thing. All right? Very important for you to do this. So first hold down your Option key or your Alt key, click on this, 9, and then you're going to, right away, without letting go, you're going to drag it over to 10. Right about there. Then we're going to come up to 11, and I'm going to click and press here, hold the mouse, drag it to 12. Now, click and press on the anchor point again. That's 13. I'm clicking. I'm holding. You see where it says 14? Drag to here and release. And I'm going to drag to 14 and release. I'm almost done. We almost got this in the first shot, so just hang in there with me. I'm now going to move over to 15. I'm going to close this shape. You see the little circle? What it tells me to do here is hold down the Alt Option key, click and press in the anchor point. So hold the Alt key or the Option key first, click on it, and then drag to 16, and our shape is done. There is our shape. That is the shape that we've created. I know that this one is a little bit tricky. All I ask you to do is to play with it a little bit and try it, and you'll see it'll work out for you. That's the exercise. Thank you very much, and good luck with it.